Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Master Sergeant Justin Woodard from the 982nd Training Group, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony. Today, we pay special tribute to Senior Master Sergeant John R. Laurence on the occasion of his retirement after 22 years of dedicated service to his country and the United States Air Force. Throughout the ceremony, there will be times when you will be asked to stand and be seated. As a reminder, during the playing of the national anthem, military members in uniform should stand at attention, and military members in civilian clothes and civilians should place their right hand over their heart. Officiating today's ceremony is the Commander, 372nd Training Squadron, Major Cameron Cooper. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the playing of our national anthem by Technical Sergeant Ernest Foster, Jr.
Present! Ho! Colors turn, hut!
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you, Technical Sergeant Foster, for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. We are honored to have in attendance with us some very special guests of Senior Master Sergeant Laurence. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Senior Master Sergeant's spouse, Amber, and their sons, Eric and Logan. His father, Mel, and mother, Joni. His sisters, Carrie, Katie, Jessie, and Julie. His father-in-law, Master Sergeant Retired, C.R. Eckroth, and mother-in-law, Tina. And we also welcome his good friend, Chief Master Sergeant Ian Neske. We are also honored to have the Deputy Commander, 982nd Training Group, Colonel Joseph Gilpin. And the Senior Enlisted Leader, 782nd Training Group, Chief Master Sergeant Andrew Earl. And to all other distinguished visitors, family, friends, and Team Shepherd who have come to celebrate Senior Master Sergeant Lawrence's retirement, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present Major Cameron Cooper.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm gonna apologize, I'm a little congested. I told John I got sick this morning. I think it's because he's leaving me, so it's kind of been par for the course, brother. So thank you, Tech Sergeant Foster, for that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Where you at, Tech Sergeant Foster? Great job. I would take Kenny G over you any day, man. I would. I'm messing with you, man. You did an amazing job. Amazing job, brother. Master Sergeant Woodard, aka the voice here at Shepherd for narrating. Master Sergeant Pershot, coordinating the ceremony and doing proper duties as well. Master Sergeant Cooper, Cousin Cooper, where you at? Thank you for helping out as well. And everybody else with the 372 TRS team for putting this together. There was a lot of people behind the scenes and making this go well for as we send off the legend, Senior Master Sergeant John Laurence. Today's not only recognizing John, but also about his family and his friends, thanking them for their love and support and the sacrifices they made for him to reach these multiple accomplishments and milestones throughout his career. So first we recognize them. First we have his wife Amber, which they recently celebrated a decade of marital bliss on the 9th of May, so let's go ahead and clap it up for that as well. We have his sons Eric and Logan, excuse me. I asked Logan earlier, when we were in the hallway, I said, hey, you excited for your dad to come back? And he just like paused for a little bit, and I was like, uh-oh. He smiled afterwards and said he's ready for Pops to come home. We have Mr. Mel, Miss Joni, thank you for coming. His sisters, Carrie, Katie, Jesse, and Julie, thank you all for coming as well. Matt, thank you for coming as well. Also want to recognize his father-in-law and his mother-in-law, Master Sergeant retired C.R. Ekroth, and his wife Tina. And then two of his best friends are in attendance today, Chief Ian Nesky and Mr. Craig Olderslake. Did I say that correctly? Yes, let's go. Okay. I practiced that at least 3 times last night, so. I know you all have traveled far to celebrate this incredible occasion for John, and he's more than thrilled to have you here for these, to rejoice his 22 years of service in the world's greatest Air Force. I also want to recognize our DVs, so I say the Deputy Group Commander, Colonel Joseph Gilpin, 782nd Senior Enlisted Leader, Chief Earl, I think I saw Major Connor, I got you as well as Major Devin Tabor. What's going on, brother? All chiefs, first sergeants, and of course the fellow men and women of the 372nd Training Squadron. Thanks for coming out today for this ceremony. So I felt honored because John made me feel like I was on the top of his list to officiate the ceremony. If that wasn't the case, please don't tell me. That's what I'm going to take to my head. I appreciate you boosting up my head, so thank you. It's a privilege, brother, to be able to send you off on your way. You know the 372 family wanted to make sure we send you off in the right fashion. We'll take a quick trip down memory lane, sprinkle a few jokes. As you can see, we already got the Green Bay Packers, your favorite team. And, give you a couple gifts and salute you on your way forward. So when I sat down with John last week, I asked him, what made you decide to join the military? A young man from the big city of Mound, Minnesota, a state that hasn't seen a world championship since 1991. What was it that made you want to leave? Was it the sadness and the vacuum of disappointment years after years? So you wanted to join a winning team, the United States Air Force. I think that's what he said. Yeah, we'll go with that. But also the main reason was his best friend, since he's known since second grade, and who is now Chief Ian Nesky, tricked him into taking a field trip out to the recruiter's office. And they somehow signed the lives away to the Air Force. And so in the summer of 2001, they headed to Lackland Air Force Base. And the first official day started on July 2nd. And before we continue to go down memory lane, I had to check with Google to see what monumentous things happened on that day. So the #1 song in the United States at that time was "You Remind Me" by Usher, which is definitely on my MySpace, and I'm sure it was on y'all's as well. Absolutely, yeah, MySpace, yeah, there's no more. Facebook and Twitter was around that time. The United States President was George Bush. And then there was this guy named Cameron Cooper. He was in 7th grade, living in Crestview, Florida, going to YMCA summer camp. So that's where I was at. Just to let you know how old you are or something. So back to a story. Being at the 2nd of July was when he started basic training. I asked him if they let him celebrate for the July 4th, in which he replied, absolutely not. We got to listen to screams, yelling by TIs, and fireworks all mixed all in together. So I'm sorry about that, brother. He finished basic training. His first assignment was at Langley Air Force Base as an assistant dedicated crew chief for the 27th AMXS for F-15s. So when I usually review the records, I'm gonna try to find out if there's any like problem, like bullets in there. And I was gonna try to make up some things, but we all know how John is and how professional he is. So I was like, you know what, I'll try to make up some things later on in the speech. But from 2001 to 2003, here are a couple things that got listed off. Outstanding maintenance professional, my #1 tactical aircraft maintenance apprentice out of 24 assigned assistant dedicated crew chiefs. Keen attention to detail led to 100% pass rate on 5 quality assurance evaluations. Gonna help him out in the future as the inspector general team, and promoted to senior airman below the zone. When you read those bullets and listen to those bullets, not only does it show from day one the Air Force selected the right guy, but also shows the parenting from Mr. Mel and Ms. Joni, and as well as the guidance from his sisters as well. Can't leave y'all out as well for helping a young man, mature man come into the Air Force. He continued to excel in over the next couple of years at Langley with other bullets that read, continues to excel in all facets of his duties, capable and ready to assume responsibilities of a staff sergeant, which is pretty impressive. It was only after his 3rd year being in the Air Force. Unanimously selected as the first maintenance group's 10 outstanding young airmen. And the last one was true professional, hand selected for the 1st Fighter Wing's elite honor guard team. I'm not gonna lie, John, that was shocking to me. I did not know you were on the honor guard team. So I was like, man, I would love to see young, senior airmen, Laurence, going out there getting sharp on moves. But it was pretty cool to read about that, man. During this time, he also met his best friend and former supervisor, Craig. I asked him how you made such a big impact on him, and he stated you were a hard worker. You always made sure everybody on your ship was taken care of. You were genuine and personally cared about his well-being, not only as an airman, but as a man. And you were always professional no matter what the circumstance was, as things always get intense on the maintenance flight line. And you paved the way for him to be a future NCO and senior NCO. And I can tell you that 10 months that I worked with John, he accumulated all these things. So I want to personally tell you thank you as well. From 2005 to 2008, John continued to excel and move up the ranks. He became a staff sergeant and cross-trained over from the F-15s. He became an F-22 dedicated crew chief. Looking at his records in 2006, I noticed that, again, I promise you this is in there, LeBron was his supervisor, selected #1 out of 300 airmen as an AMXS Maintenance Professional of the Year. Actually, it's Senior Master Sergeant LeBron, but it was pretty cool to read about that. And also senior in high school, I was getting ready to graduate in 2006. So I was getting ready to, still not in the Air Force yet, John, so you're still old. We'll continue to remind you that as we continue to go through this speech. In the rest of John's performance reports, you'll start to see a theme with phrases such as consummate professional, highly motivated, true professional, team leader, and subject matter expert. All these characteristics he continued to display that helped him set him apart from his peers. Subject matter expert would come into play in the next part of his career as he transitioned to Edwards Air Force Base, California. I was born there in 1988, which is pretty cool. 2008 from 2015, where he was a part of the 31st Test and Evaluation Squadron and the 412th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, where he supported the logistic and test and eval program for the F-22s. It was here where he learned to hone his leadership skills and rose through the ranks from Staff Sergeant all the way to Master Sergeant. And this is where his love for the Air Force continued to grow as he was able to mentor junior airmen, take them under his wing, and help them develop their own skills and leadership abilities. He played a huge part of facilitating the AIM-9X ground flights, which ultimately pushed a $3.5 million weapon system upgrade for the F-22 fleet. Very timely. And he continued to earn his maintenance stripes, becoming a flight line expediter, production superintendent, and section chief. John stated Edwards Air Force Base was his best tour, which I kind of took offensively, right? Because you would think Shepard would be his best amount tour. However, he said that's where he met his lovely wife, Amber, which I had no problem, so I had to write it down, absolutely. During this time period, John managed hundreds of programs during the 7-year period with the constant and key phrases of zero finders during inspections for how meticulous he is. So what does the Air Force reward him with? They send him out to Wright Patterson Air Force Base as an aircraft maintenance inspector general position. For the next 6.5 to 7 years of his career at the AFMC Inspector General Headquarters, he performed command level inspections for over 80,000 personnel, 27 different locations, and 14 wings. These inspections and reports were provided to the Secretary of the Air Force and the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. In his first year in the IG, he saved over $25,000 in TDY costs, which I thought to myself, that's definitely John. He does not like spending any money whatsoever. Even if it's the Air Force and taxpayers' money, he does not like spending any money. Quick story, we go to visit one of our detachments and they had this like huge, like 35, 40 inch screen. I kind of smiled at it. I was like, oh man, those are pretty nice. He's like, yeah, absolutely not, sir, not happening. And I was like, he's like, they already asked for that. The entire detachment and squadron asked for that. That's not happening, sir. Those things cost way too much money. And I'm like, good copy, sir. Don't want to get me fired. So I got you. So thank you, John. Also, other reports during his time there: #1 Master Sergeant at Headquarters Air Force Material Command, AFMC Headquarters Senior SEAL of the Year, 2-letter level Sergeant Award winner, and AFMC General Leaf Senior and SEAL of the Year winner. During that tenure at Wright Pat, John, it looks like there was nothing left for you to accomplish, from my perspective, as your impact was super significant. However, if you're a part of the Air Force long enough, it will ask you to sacrifice certain things, and one of those things is being away from your family. And John accepted an unaccompanied tour here at Shepherd Air Force Base, which I know was difficult for you and your family. However, the impact that you made here from the 372 TRS was remarkable. John came here with the assignment of being a squadron superintendent for 27 different locations with over 700 personnel on three different continents, which is already a tall task in itself. And then just to add to it, our chief gets deployed 6 months later, so we asked John to do his regular job, and of course do the chief's job. And then on cherry on top, he gets a young 34-year-old major who's going first in command and has no idea how to command yet. And I'm asking John to mentor me and help guide me over the next 10 months, which he did an amazing job. And I remember sitting down with him in my office and I told him how nervous I was. And sir, obviously, he said, sir, I promise you, no matter what, like, we're gonna take care of you. Don't worry about it. And I will tell you, Chief Earl, that was the first thing when we talked 2 days prior. He said, make sure you keep seeing Laurence on your side and he'll take care of you, sir. Don't worry, you won't get fired. So I appreciate that, John, for not getting fired. I want to tell you personally, I know I wouldn't have made it without these past 10 months without you, brother. I truly believe that. And the squadron went excelled to the new heights, as we also won the Squadron of the Year this past year. And I really appreciate your efforts and your time. I can't thank you from the bottom of my heart for the countless hours you put into work. Guys, there was times that John would be here until 7 p.m. at night. And then there would be times where I'm sending him home and I'm like, all right, I'm going to beat him here. And I get here sometimes 6:30, 6 o'clock. Guess whose car's already parked here at 5 o'clock in the morning? I'm sorry, I apologize. He's just trying to take care of us in the squadron. That just shows how selfless he is and how much he cares. Even in his last year, right, most people kind of want to go ahead and go off into the sunset, but that's not John Laurence at all. He made sure to finish the tape, and I appreciate you guys so much. If I were to describe your leadership style in 3 words, it would be respect, integrity, and genuine. The closed doors conversations, you checking on me personally and supporting me throughout this last year, I can't thank you enough. And I'm proud to have served with you, and I'm excited for your new chapter. Which I asked him what was going to be his main focus after he retired, and he said to be a better husband and a better father, which I know undoubtedly you're going to kill it. John, you have had an amazing career. I know you're excited to return home with your family, but just know you'll be sorely missed, and the Air Force is losing an amazing leader, especially with your new haircut. I love it. I'm glad you're able to dye your hair as well, because I know it costs a lot of gray hair, so I apologize. To the Laurence family, I appreciate you so much for supporting such an amazing person. The military life is not easy, so I want to thank you for your support and your service during the time as well. Thank you for 22 years of distinguished service to the United States Air Force and our great nation. I'm humbled and honored to serve with you, brother. Godspeed. Let's do this. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Major Cameron Cooper presents Senior Master Sergeant John Laurence with the Meritorious Service Medal. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of the Meritorious Service Medal. This is to certify that the Meritorious Service Medal, 4th Oak Leaf Cluster, has been awarded to Senior Master Sergeant John R. Laurence for meritorious service, 19 August 2021 to 31 August 2023. Senior Master Sergeant John Laurence distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Squadron Superintendent, 372nd Training Squadron, Shepherd Air Force Base, Texas. During this period, Sergeant Laurence diligently steered Air Education and Training Command's largest training squadron. He led his cadre of 705 instructors to deliver over 8,000 classes that produced an astonishing 25,000 competent technicians at 26 field training detachments around the world. Additionally, Sergeant Laurence delivered 61 mobile training teams in support of all major commands. These expeditionary teams reduced travel costs by $500,000 and provided advanced training to sister service and foreign partners. Furthermore, Sergeant Laurence eliminated a F-16 training pipeline bottleneck by allocating 4 instructors who tackled stagnated student flow to the Korean Peninsula, which provided the tense area of responsibility with combat-ready airmen. Finally, Sergeant Laurence expertly filled the squadron's Chief Master Sergeant billet. In this capacity, he built a team of subject matter experts who worked with the Royal Thai Air Force to author enduring aircraft maintenance techniques, tactics, and procedures for a country designated as a major non-North Atlantic Treaty Organization ally by the Department of State. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Laurence culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the retirement portion of today's ceremony.
Publish the order.
Special Order number AC-000889, dated 25 October 2022, effective 31 August 2023. Senior Master Sergeant John R. Laurence is relieved from active duty, 372nd Training Squadron, Shepherd Air Force Base, Texas, and is retired effective 1 September 2023 per AFI 36-3203 in the grade of Senior Master Sergeant by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Please be seated. Major Cooper will now present the retirement certificate. The certificate reads as follows. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents greeting, this is to certify that Senior Master Sergeant John R. Laurence, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of September 2023. Signed, General Charles Q. Brown, Jr., Chief of Staff, United States Air Force, and Brigadier General Lyle K. Drew, Commander, 82nd Training Wing. Mrs. Amber Laurence, would you please come forward? Every retiree receives a special retirement pin as a memento of their active duty service. At this time, Mrs. Laurence will place the retirement pin on Senior Master Sergeant Lawrence's lapel to symbolize his transition from active duty to retired status. Major Cooper will now present Mrs. Amber Laurence with the Air Force Certificate of Appreciation. The certificate reads as follows. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Air Force. In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents their Certificate of Recognition to Mrs. Amber Laurence for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for the support which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Signed, General Charles Q. Brown, Jr., Chief of Staff, United States Air Force. Mrs. Amber Laurence is also presented with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. The certificate reads as follows. On behalf of all Air Force airmen and their families, the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force presents this certificate of appreciation to Mrs. Amber Laurence. I join your spouse, family, and friends in thanking you for the numerous contributions and sacrifices you made in support of our United States Air Force. Your dedication gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service in defense of our nation. Given this first day of September 2023, signed, Chief Master Sergeant Joanne Bass, 19th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Thank you, Mrs. Laurence. At this time, Major Cameron Cooper, Technical Sergeant Alexander Lewis, and Master Sergeant John Cooper will now present Senior Master Sergeant Laurence with a shadow box to commemorate his 22 years of faithful and dedicated service to his country and the United States Air Force. The shadow box was carefully constructed with support from Master Sergeant Cooper and assembled by Technical Sergeant Lewis. Next, the men and women from the 372nd Training Squadron will now come up to the stage to present Senior Master Sergeant Laurence with their gift. Past, present.
Please, if you don't mind. That means you too, Chief. We have this theme, and I did not create this at all. When I first came into the squadron, about a month ago, Colonel Dunphy used to always just say forever 372, and really big into family. And that's something that I wanted to honestly create when I came into my squadron, but I was already happy that this was already set. And so this is why I wanted to make sure everybody is up here, because again, this is just not for myself, this is for the entire family. We're gonna miss you, brother. Thank you so much. We gotta make sure, we got this guy that's taking pictures, he needs to be in here as well, so. Summerline, we got him. See everybody as well?
Come on, John.
Always waiting on age.
I know. It's better get tighter, we good? Thank you, appreciate it.
One of Senior Master Sergeant Lawrence's most favorite troops of all time will now present their gift. Hey, it's me. So what to get to show my appreciation? Of course, you got your shadow box, and there is an IG badge in there. I don't know if any of you all knew that, but Senior was in the IG. He doesn't like to talk about that a whole lot. And then, of course, we had to get the traditional Forever 372 gift, bear. However, I had to get something just a little different. So every unit that I've been in has way too many Cowboys fans. Feel free to boo if you want. No one cares. And there's usually one Packer fan, that's usually myself. And then I'll usually be okay for a while. I got lucky this time because he's there with me. But along with us, every now and then you'll get a Vikings fan too. And sometimes you meet these people. They're the nicest people. They're easy to talk to, fun to joke with. There is an Oxford comma right there in my script, just so you know. And they have a great work ethic. And then it hits you, because you pass by their desk or their office, and there's that little faint hint of purple and gold. Yeah, sometimes there's too many of you too. And you just think to yourself, oh geez. And then all those nice things go out the window quicker than Aaron Rodgers can throw his team under the bus. Backing up to December, our awesome LT, Lieutenant Palat, elementary school teacher background has brought a tremendous amount of morale to the squadron. And every time we have a holiday, she usually does something special to go along with it. So when it was Christmas time, she came up with this ornament contest. And December just also happens to be a time when we have quarterly and annual awards, EPRs. It's a super busy time. So I knew there was something that I could come up with, but it was taking me a while, had all these other things going on. So I asked for an extension, and then right at the buzzer, I got my ornament submission in. And I came up with this awesome picture from seniors' time in the IG, and made it even more beautiful with some green and gold confetti and a little word bubble that said, "All I want for Christmas is an Aaron Rodgers jersey." So then flash forward to the party, and it was announced that the winner would get one final trumping vote in the white elephant. And, of course, senior's beautiful ornament made by yours truly, Len. So appreciate that, because that won me a bottle of bourbon. All that to say, it just wouldn't be right if I didn't make you want to go along with it. It pains me to do this, but of course I had to get the matching purple and gold confetti and desecrate my own photo. And I did have to hang my ornament that I made on my own tree. My son hates it. He said, "Who is that guy in our tree?" So hopefully mine will bring you joy as well. At this time, can I get Chief Earl and Mr. Smale to come up and say a few words?
So, Major did an excellent job about talking about what Chief Earl did. Sergeant Laurence did. While I was here. Yeah, Tim. There you go. No, what a hand we were done. I mean, we don't have a director of operation. We haven't had one for a while. As we talked about, Chief Earl got there. He was there for about 2 or 3 months, and the Air Force decided that he was the guy to go deployed, even though he'd only been in our operation for only a few months. So, Senior Master Sergeant Laurence, John, he stepped up to go do the chief duties, the DO duties, and we just tried to make it all work. And I can tell you the amount of hours, like the commander said, that it takes to do that, we would not be where we're at today if it wasn't for what John did. I mean, it was just amazing. So I appreciate it, and I will thank the family, because oh my goodness, that's dedication for the last year and a half or so to go away. We're very thankful for that, because we benefited from it. Over 15,000 graduates in a year that we have, the amount of issues. And I told John walking into this, I said, John, one of the things we'll be talking about is you're here for a couple months. There is never a routine day. I don't know what that looks like. I've been here 4 years and I still don't know what that looks like, because something comes up and it happens. When you have over 600 instructors and other faculty members across the world, there's always something going on, and we've got to adjust our thing because there's 5 different time zones we're dealing with. John dealt with that all the time. And as was mentioned, he was there late at night. He's there early in the morning. He's getting calls on weekends. So I can't thank him enough from behalf of myself, who's a teammate of his, for doing that. And I mean, I was amazed too. I honestly did not know that you were still in the Air Force. You were in the Air Force for 2 years when I retired. So 20 years prior to that is when I retired. So here we are now, the next generation. So I mean, I appreciate that. What I do want to share with you is, other than thanks from the squadron, is just remember, they call it today President. Okay, the President. There's a reason they call it the President, because it's a gift. Tomorrow's not promised. So what I tell you is, we've had our discussions in the office, and thank you for those friendly discussions, both personal and work-related, is just remember, I told you, I said, the final promotion from the Air Force, no matter what rank you are, is what? Miss Herman is, right? That's it. And be very thankful. We appreciate what you've done for us, but enjoy each day of your life, your next chapter with your family. We're very, very much appreciative for everything you did. Thank you.
So just real quick, John, Laurence, I could stand up here all day and talk to you about how much you've meant to me in the past, year and a half that we've known each other. I wish I would have met him a lot sooner in my career, because I think we would have been best friends, right? Maybe. I don't know. You're kind of probably still mad at me about the deployment. But he's also got some really cool stuff, right? So you guys have seen the F-22 model, right? The plastic F-22 model. His name is on that model. So anytime you go to buy that model, it's Senior Airman or Staff Sergeant. Staff Sergeant John Laurence. And that's really him. That's the thing. So, but you're also probably one of the most nervous people I know. Twitchy. I guess twitchy is the right word, right? He gets antsy. So we traveled a lot together. Got to spend a lot of time in rental cars together. And I got to tell one story before I get serious. Okay? And you know what I'm going to say. I do. So we were going to Holloman Air Force Base to visit a day. When you go to Holloman, you have to fly into El Paso. As you know, El Paso is about 3 miles from the border, okay? So we get to El Paso, and it is TSA and Border Patrol Central, so you're already kind of heightened level. We get our bags, we get in the car, we're driving to Holloman. It's about a 90-minute drive. Halfway to Holloman, they pulled us over to they took way stations and they converted them to border checks, right? Checking people's stuff. So he's immediately we're fine. We got, we're good. And he's immediately starting to get red, starting to get a little twitchy. And I'm like, John, don't get me arrested. I've made it 44 years and I haven't been arrested. This is the one time I was freaking nervous, right? So we get up, he rolls his window down, and it's immediately like this, right? And the guy's asking him questions, he's staring at the windshield. And it's simple stuff. It's like, hey, so where are you from? Where are you going? Couldn't tell him where he was from. He was just like, and finally he was like, guy was just gave him their stuff. Was like, just get the heck out of here, I was nervous. So about a year ago, John came in. I knew that he, big sacrifices, right? We sacrifice a lot for the Air Force, and sometimes our families take the brunt of that. They absolutely do, and I've got to a point in my career where I'm starting to reflect on those things, and I'm trying to correct, right? But so about a year ago, before I deployed, he came to me and he's like, Chief, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. I want to go home, right? And I don't know what he expected me to respond with, but I knew his situation. I knew that he had been away from y'all forever, and he just wanted to go home. And I will tell you that John Laurence could absolutely be a chief. He should have been a chief this year. He absolutely would have been. Guaranteed. He only missed chief by 7 points this year without a stratification or anything, based on his records and what he brought to the table. But he chose you. And I told him, John, similar to what Mr. Smale said, when you retire, you're a mister. And sometimes you drive so hard that you forget about what's important. And you chose what was important. And I supported that 100% because I knew where your heart was. And you just wanted to go home. And a measure of a successful career is not stripes, and it's not accolades, and it's not these things. It's these people here that are still here to support you. And that's what matters. It really does. So I love you. I'll bring your gift tonight. I'm going to drink lots of beer under your name. I love you. I'll never forget you. You're a friend for life.
Chief Neske, the floor is yours.
Well, that got me all emotional. Sorry.
He tends to do that.
So, I have to give you the obligatory retired Air Force hat. This started out, it looks good by the way. Since we're making all these uniform changes, why not? So this started off as a really cool gift. I had this picture, it's on the back of the pamphlet there of John and I graduated from basic, and I started out as arts and crafts. I said, I want to put this on a bottle. And they said, oh yeah, let's see it. So I gave them the picture. They said, oh yeah, we can't do that. I said, okay, well, can you etch something in the glass with this and some stripes, and had some much simpler details. And they said, oh, only if you empty the bottle. I said, okay, well, I can't do that. So I said, well, can you put a damn nameplate on it? And they could do that. So, if you don't know the story, I've always been a fat kid, so I had to weigh in for Deb every month until I left. And John worked all the time, and I said, he had a day off. He was like, what are you doing? I said, well, I gotta go in as the recruiter. You should just come hang out with me. I walked in and I said, Sergeant Boyne, give John your spiel. And I went to go weigh in and everything. And he was gone for like 45 minutes. And he came out and he's like, well, I'm leaving in July. I said, what does your mom gonna say? She didn't know yet. So it says, hey John, come hang out with me today. I've got to go in with the recruiter. So you can put that on your mantle. That will be an anecdotal story for the rest of
Next, Major Cooper will now present his gift to Senior Master Sergeant Laurence.
So it's funny, it's been just busy, I'll say 2.5 weeks for myself, and I was looking and trying to find John the right gift. I ordered 2 gifts, right? So I ordered Chief Earl's gift because he wasn't previously in the squadron, and it was funny because he actually left on leave on Thursday, and I ordered John's last week on Monday, so I'm thinking when I get notifications, it's gonna be John's, and then I see it's Chief Earl's. So I had Chief Earl pick up your gift off of my porch the other day, so I got to hand Chief Earl his gift, and then yours came in. I was like super excited. This is just a token, right? You know, we love you so much, brother. Again, like Chief talked about, really admirable. You know how, again, we talk about family and being a military brat. It's just awesome that you chose your career. And I really admire you for that, because like Chief said, you could have focused in and went after Chief, right? But you knew your heart was here, and I appreciate you doing that. And showing, potentially, right, that same thing that happened to me. You set an example so much for me. It is what it is, right? You're always gonna be my first chief, but you were my first SCL position when I first came in, right? You did an amazing job. So this is just a token of my appreciation. To open up in front of everybody. I didn't want to rip it up, but you've been giving me a lot of crap about your team, but hoping this is something that you can hang up.
that is awesome.
Yeah, he's up in your man cave. You're allowed to have a man cave.
Oh, nice.
It has like a night light in there as well, so if he's scared of the dark, you can put it in there.
The Shepherd Air Force Base Honor Guard will perform a flag folding ceremony in honor of Senior Master Sergeant John Laurence. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence. And blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of the Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who served our great nation. The sun never sets on our United States Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we, as Americans, enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. Senior Master Sergeant Laurence will now present flags and flowers to his family.
Sugar. I love you. Oh.
Allergies. Pass it on. Yeah, I'll pass it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the one, the only, Senior Master Sergeant John Laurence, United States Air Force, retired.
All right, sorry, I'll try to use the mic here so everyone can hear me. I didn't make it. I tried real hard, but allergies got to me. You know, I thought a long time about what to say at your own retirement ceremony. You know, it's 22 years, a long time to do anything. And really, at the end of it, it's all about thank yous, because you don't do this job alone. No one can get anywhere at all without everyone at their backs. So that's what we're going to do. First, thank you. I appreciate everything you've done for me. You've been an excellent planner. Thank you for being my presiding officer. Who we got here? Justin, thank you so much. You're excellent. All your words, you're so good at it. Kershaw, thanks again for everything you've done. These don't just come together. There's a lot of work. To the rest of my 372 family, 982 out there, thank you guys for making this an amazing assignment. It was so much fun. Pretty certain half of y'all are here just to make sure I leave. Thank you. To my friends, Ian, the story is true as the day is blue. I really had no plans to join the Air Force. I hopped in your car, and next thing I know, I was bamboozled into this. And I fell for that line, and it's been the best 22 years of my life. It's been super rewarding. Prayer, brother. I wouldn't be there when I am today without you. You made it everything that I've done in life. It's because you taught me how to do it at a really young age. I can't wait to spend the rest of the summers together, whether it be at the lake or the beach. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ellie and Brandon, thanks for making it out. Ellie, thank you for getting me the doctor when I really needed to go. As my nurse, I knew that. Thank you. To my sisters, okay, Jessica, Carrie, I love you all. I cannot wait to finally get to spend summers together and things together. Air Force is about sacrifice. Probably the one regret I have in my entire Air Force career is Julia missed your wedding. Never forgave myself. But I made for damn sure that didn't happen to somebody else. So, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Thank you for making it tonight. CR and Tina, welcome me into your lives. We're dang near neighbors, a few miles down the road. A lot of great years. Hopefully we can start making our way back to California in the years to come. Mom and Dad, I can't say enough. Thank you. You set an amazing foundation for our family. We're all here today, whether it's texting on a daily, weekly basis between all of us or anything else. Our family is truly amazing, and we have to thank for it. So thank you. Eric. that ever taught you about being a man. So thank you. Love you, buddy. Your dad's coming home. I'm tired of listening to him. Amber, you're my everything. I love you, baby. I can't wait to come home. All right, I promise I'm done crying. I promise I'm all done. Thank you all so much for showing up. I do love you all. If you want to join us tonight, we will be at USAF Brewing Company around 5:30, 6 o'clock till the night goes on to celebrate. Thank y'all.
Senior Laurence, the men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served with you, even as a Vikings fan. Please know that you will always be a valuable member of the Air Force family, even in retirement. We wish you and your family every success in your future endeavors. Please stand for the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. This concludes today's ceremony. We invite everyone to join Major Cameron Cooper in congratulating Senior Master Sergeant John Laurence and his family